All right, the rain just stopped raining just enough that I can press play on this. So the screensaver on the front of this is Miss Shelley admitting to destroying a picture, and this right here is Russell talking about that picture.
An email address, so changing that over is important. Shelley is not going to work with me anymore after admitting that she destroyed that picture. That's pretty important. I do want to find out what was up about that picture, why there was a picture posted up of me with mean stuff written on it for months, why it was slid into a drawer, and why it is that she destroyed it rather than. I have no idea on that one. But this is stuff that is important. These are situations where she literally destroyed evidence and admitted to it. She also admitted to destroying more evidence that's in my file, but I don't have any evidence that she said that. I do have evidence that she texted that she did destroy that picture. So I've seen that picture. I know which one you're talking about. I seen it, and you know that when I first got here. Then after that, I didn't see that for a while, so I didn't even know where it went. Do you remember what it said? No, I don't. This was many, many months ago. So yeah. Yes, sir. I think it had a lot to do with what happened with you and the thing on 80. That's what we're talking about. So everybody in the office was aware of it. I guess. I don't know.
Um, those of you who looked up Natalie Bollinger, which is probably everybody that looks at my channel, I don't think people necessarily are coming to my channel for random purposes. This is a very specific niche area for creepers into true crime, unfortunately. I'm not into any of that. I'd like to find somebody interested in the truth. That's what I'm interested in. Somebody who's not too afraid to come forward, somebody who's not too afraid to share this stuff, somebody who's not too afraid to speak up, somebody a little more like Deputy Taylor, although, you know, he could go one of two ways. It's still up in the air. He might let it get to his head and become an extreme bully. Or he might fight for social justice. We just got to hope he keeps his job and is offered a better one.
Well, that's a situation where instead of everybody saying don't say this and don't say that, my First Amendment right is to speak out. You can go ahead and take the fifth. Anybody can take the fifth. But the first is more important. I'm speaking up about abuse, and it is nobody's right to prevent me from doing so or to cut me off from doing so. And as a disabled person, I am a protected status, and there is supposed to be a case manager and a case worker to assist me with this. We haven't gotten that, and Shelley wasn't working on it.
By the way, Miss Shelley claimed that she was something to that order. She also claimed that she is a mandatory reporter, and she was the peer support worker that I had literally right after Russell. She replaced him, but it took them about 3 weeks to do that. Because the first 2 weeks they didn't bother telling me or Russell that Russell wasn't going to be a peer support anymore, and it took another week after that. I just we'll press play.
The housing stuff, she kept on going around in circles every single meeting, and every single meeting I'd explain to her, well, I already filled out the housing paperwork. What more do you want me to do? Nobody told me anything about calling them. Nobody told me anything about that. I'm just following the processes that I'm told.
Oh, I do want to point out right there, you notice that there's three of them in a row, and yesterday or the day before when I was posting up, there was only two. Now there's three. Yeah, this is from the third one that I was able to finally download this morning. So that's what we're listening to.
So with Melissa getting an extreme attitude with me, that extreme attitude wasn't over that. That extreme attitude is because she's angry that I'm making allegations. And the thing is that
She also knows I have evidence.
these are not misdemeanors that she committed, these are felonies. And the thing with Sean is that I I don't want to talk to her because it's an unsafe situation. You're right across from me right now. Yes, sir. It's an unsafe situation to turn in any form of abuse to anybody who's already abused you. I'm sure you're already aware of that. The other situation is anybody who's spent any time locked up knows that there's certain rules that you have to follow, especially out on the streets, and you know I'm breaking all those rules.
So, according to the laws in every state, they're not allowed to send somebody that you're trying to turn in. It doesn't matter if it's a police officer or a social worker or anything like that. If you are trying to turn them in, they're not allowed to come and harass you, which is what it is after you've tried to turn them in. When I tried to turn in Natalie, I had to deal with all sorts of harassment. When I tried to turn in Tim Beeson, all sorts of harassment. When I had to try to turn in Ted Bollinger, all sorts of harassment. Well, I'm used to the harassment.
You don't snitch. You don't go telling on people. You don't tattle on people. You don't, whatever you want to call it, you don't narc on people. Well, I do. I absolutely do. There's always a certain circumstance, even within prison. I've been in prison 3 times. I already know. There are certain circumstances that waive that. Yes, and primarily on the streets, that if there's a man abusing a woman. Okay, yes, but there's all different circumstances that can be. When I turned in Andrew Wolnez, there were people that Andrew Wolnez threatened to kill that physically assaulted me for trying to turn in Andrew Wolnez. And you know why? It's because I talked to the police. Yeah. I get treated like that's a delusion. That's reality. So I've got a bunch of people trying to pretend that things that actually did happen are somehow delusions. They're certainly not. The stuff with my file, I do need access to that. The stuff that's in there, at least it wasn't destroyed. And I want to match that up with what I have on my YouTube, because what I have on my YouTube shows when I came in here, what my appointments were, who it is that I came and saw, and that'll allow me to go through and find what it is that Miss Shelley destroyed. Okay. But again, some of this stuff might need to be faxed, so getting a contact number or some way to send it is important. The same thing with Sean. I don't have any sort of contact information to send it to him. And neither do I. I just met him a couple days ago for the first time. I didn't even know we had a new director.
And see, that right there is why I am doing my best to give leniency to Sean. This is a shitty situation for him to walk into on his first day, or first couple of days. What I was saying about the laws, however, is let's say you're trying to turn in somebody who did something wrong to you. Let's say a police officer did something wrong to you, right? Now, let's say you're schizophrenic and delusional, and what that police officer did wrong to you was call aliens from outer space to use their extra long tongues to try to strangle you in your sleep. Um, yeah, that officer is allowed to respond to these calls. It's probably a better idea if somebody else did it. It will probably agitate the person, but obviously that's not credible. Now let's say you are actively attempting to turn in this police officer for physically assaulting you, for refusing to do their job as a mandated reporter, whatever the case may be. Um, you're still having to turn in the police officer to themselves if they want to pretend that you're believing that they're even, you know, that you believe they're evil space aliens that are working for magical unicorns and CIA brainwave rays and whatever tinfoil hat crap you want to put on it. Assault by a police officer is an assault by a police officer. That's not a delusion. Mandatory reporters refusing to do their jobs, that is a criminal act. I'm trying to turn in criminal acts. That's why these people pretend that it's a delusion. They have one chance to turn it in, and if they screw it up, And it turns out they were wrong. They've broken the law. So when somebody says I was assaulted by a police officer, assuming that they're a schizophrenic, delusional drug addict, right off the bat is a bad idea. Also, you get to see there's all sorts of evidence that I get to show now that I'm out of jail.
Yes, sir. And this is the thing that sucks about that situation is that this isn't something that you want to walk into on your first day. Yeah. The other thing is, I'd like to be able to send some of this to you through email. I didn't actually. I probably did write down your email. I have my email is on my card. I got one in my wallet right now. All right, hold on. Yes, sir. That's my email on it. My work email on it. And the other.
I do have his card now, thank goodness. I've been looking for it for a while. It's kind of like the situation with those appointment cards with Miss Shelley. She had missed so many appointments that we had made. Um, Probably halfway through it, I started collecting the cards. Every time I went in there for an appointment, I made sure that I had the appointment written down on an appointment card. I have 12 of them here. She missed most of those. She missed most of them that I have an appointment card for. So obviously, she's not taking the job seriously, or she's incapable of doing the job.
The thing is, with the YouTube stuff, that's what I have available to me. I'm not doing it that way because that's what I want to do. I'm doing it that way because, first of all, posting it on YouTube helps to protect me to some degree from people pretending that I'm threatening them or trying to hurt them or anything of that nature. You know, the playing victim thing. Yeah. The situation is forming. I was right there the whole conversation.
I'm going to pause there. So before Natalie died, I posted up my intention to take her to court. I also had messaged her while she was messaging me, letting her know my intention to get a protection order against Tim Beeson, who is threatening my life, making multiple accounts. And of course, there's the YouTube videos that show how much and how extensive that was. But he also admitted in his messages to me that he didn't tell Natalie he was doing any of this. So to Natalie, this is some crazy thing, but also she's listening to her predators. These are people who want her, like her dad wants her sexually. Tim Beeson wants her sexually. She left Tim Beeson because he was abusive. The same thing with her dad. Of course, they're not going to say nice things about me. And of course, they're going to try to make her fucking paranoid over every little thing. And of course, they're going to do crazy shit. Like a lot of the stuff that Natalie said is absolutely not true. Like she claimed that I made dozens of accounts and numerous accounts. Fuck no, I didn't. I made 2 accounts, both of them to follow the suggestions of police officers and, of course, Joanna Taylor Smith. These guys just wanted to give me bad advice and blow me off and tell me to do things that later on are used to pretend I'm some sort of a horrible person. My predators are allowed to do this shit to me. I'm not allowed to turn it in. I'm not allowed to do it back. I'm not allowed to nothing.
Play the delusional thing after knowing it's true. It's obviously not a delusion. My paperwork says it's not a delusion. All right. Monday, 12 o'clock. Yes, sir. And between now and Monday, are you going to explain to him that when I get to see him, but I don't think I'm going to see him until Monday. I figured. So I don't know what days he works. I don't know much about him yet, so I have no idea. I have to do a little research myself. Like I said, I just found out a few days ago that we have a new director. I had no idea we had one. You know, I was so out of the loop working the shelter up here that I'm learning there's a lot of different things that are going on around here and I didn't even know about it. So I've been having to figure all that out now. The YouTube links. Also, I don't have your phone number anymore. I didn't write it down which number it was. It was yours. I do have it in my pocket now. Yeah, that's my work phone. Yes. If I send you links to stuff on the internet, you won't be able to see it though. I might. You can try. All right, and I'll let you know. I'll let you know on Monday if it went through or not. All right. The YouTube stuff. If you allow me just 2 more minutes, if I can get this going, I do want to show you my YouTube channel and that I have been posting stuff on there. I also want to show you people continue to harass me across the internet, which is to be expected. I'm just showing you as proof that it is happening. And also because even though, going to the internet and doing this is quote unquote asking for it, I'm not asking for it. I'm going here out of desperation. Yes. So this is my new YouTube channel. My videos include, this is all stuff showing the evidence. It also talks about how they use the suicide thing to prevent us from turning stuff in, to separate us from our evidence. There's also the shorts, because like this is stuff you can't really show. He has a YouTube channel with this stuff on it. The shorts, for example, there's multiple assaults by Andrew Warnes that are on here. There's stuff from Chris Stafford on here. I've been making these shorts, showing it from day one. Yeah. Not just that, the Chris Stafford stuff, Chris Warnes kicking in the side of my car. And I know I already showed you that. Yeah, I'm showing this one, yeah. Well, because they ignored it when it happened, I got treated like I didn't try to turn it in. Yeah. And like it's delusion, I'm still getting treated like it's delusion. I'm sure you might be aware that the Tillamook DA is under scrutiny right now. They're being investigated. If you could, between now and the next time I see you, if you could try to find out who it is that I need to speak to as far as that goes, because this is, I've never seen anything, even on the internet or on A&E or any of that, that comes anywhere close to the quantity of abuse I've endured. Yeah. So, obviously there's a lot to go through, but I do have a channel. I also, that's not it. That's not my channel. I also have my previous channel that I don't have access to because Miss Shelley didn't help to finish the stuff to get my back pain from disability. So I still haven't gotten that.
Let me explain to you about the back pay. So I'm being charged a bunch of money for money that I never received. So that money is sitting in a check that I'm supposed to be able to pick up. And when Russell was my peer support worker, this is all stuff that we need to get before I can even get housing. Because if I do end up getting one of these apartments that I don't have the money for, I'm going to need first month's and last month's rent. There's also the fact that like the cheapest one was like $900, which is not cheap when your disability check is only like 800. So you also have to try to live off of that 800. Um, so Miss Shelley initially wasn't gonna be my peer support worker. She was just supposed to be helping to facilitate to get that money back with Russell and myself. And we got the bank account and all the other stuff that was needed to try to get housing going. It was going super slow. I was still having to take abuse and nobody was doing anything. I was telling Russell about it, but he's not a mandatory reporter. He doesn't know what to do about it. He says he'll talk to this person, he says he'll talk to that person, but he's not trained. And there's a reason that they're pawning this stuff off on people who are not trained to do it.
I'm out of money for the month. I still have bills to pay. I got over $300 worth of stuff I got to pay, and about $200 to do it on, and a third of the month to risk through. plug it. We haven't done anything since then. All right. So that'll be something else I'll help you on Monday. We'll see if we.
Yeah, I kept going in. Miss Shelley just didn't show up. If she did show up, she wanted to repeatedly change the subject, but we never actually got on it. Pretty much every meeting I had to listen to her tell me about how she had changed her mind completely 180 from the last time she had spoken to me because Melissa said something. All right.
Get that sent over to the card company. Yes, sir. Also, I don't know if there's any way possible that you might be able to try to get a hold of somebody sometime, this week, as soon as possible, to explain to them the danger of the situation, and we do need to get on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I end up a corpse in an alley here, the evidence that I've already posted on the internet is going to result in a lot of people going to prison. Yeah. And that includes care employees. So, I want to thank you for your time. Also, thank you for we're gonna sit down on Monday. I'm gonna schedule you an hour time from noon to 1. All right, and see if we can get done. All right. I go from there. Leave my tent in weeks. I leave there to come down here and get my mail, and I try to only leave, late at night, early morning when my predators are less likely to be out. Most of them are sleepers, so they don't stop messing around until sometimes 6 in the morning. Yeah. So, well, I will pull up those emails. I'll print out some copies of them, so you have new copies of the ones that me and you filled out together, and I sent off. All right. Also, if they told you who my new peer support worker is supposed to be, you just have to come in and get that new one. All we have is now E and Alexis right now. All right. Well, I do like both of them. Yeah. I also, another person who's important in this and is a witness is, God, what's her name? Shay Darnell, that's right. So she's aware of some of the situations at TFCC. After today, she no longer works for us. Thank you, sir. All right, I just want to let you know that. Today's the last day.
It's funny how they keep shuffling out the witnesses. Her no longer working there is not my fault. I'm sorry that I didn't do what y'all expected in these videos where I'm talking to people, which is just completely freak out at them for no reason whatsoever. But really, if you talk to me like I'm a person, I'll talk to you like you're a person.
Yeah, it seems everybody either goes on vacation or quits. Yeah. All right, thank you, sir. All right.
All right, so that's the end of the video. You'll also get to see that I did go through. This is the one with Melissa and Russell, and I'll start that recording next. There's more in here. Chris, let's see. Yep, the files I need to turn in the evidence are right there. We're gonna name this file Russell and Picture. As you guys can tell, he's not a mandatory reporter. Let's go to the next one. Wow, it's going super fast. You see that? There's even more. And trying to get all of these downloaded to the internet so that you guys can see them just in case something happens to me. You'll still be able to take care of these predators. By take care of them, I don't mean harm them physically or end their existence. I mean put them in prison or at least protect yourselves from them. So here, this is where Shelley sort of almost, but not really, an hour, 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 21 seconds long. It took a while for the cop to get there. I did let them know that I was recording, but afterwards I thought it didn't actually record it. I got lucky because it did, but I haven't been able to go through the first 23 of them. I'm starting at the very end and working backwards. It's taken a lot of time. I am so tired. I'm exhausted. There's a guy that's sort of been helping me. I'm just gonna say that I'm glad he shows up, because most people don't show up at all. They talk about how they're gonna, and then they just never do. All right, so I guess we're gonna end this video. Um, Good to be with you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind.